laps to go. That's the only thing we can guarantee. And look at Cruzman trying to climb the berm.
I think he's faster than both those guys. Just can't find a way to get around.
Doty gets a little high, gets it wide, and opens the door. White flag is out, and Doty's chances may have just slid up the track.
Tony Stewart, low and slow.
And Tony Stewart wins his first ever Chili Bowl championship. Can he get any better than this? This kicks ass. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, presents Speed World today from the Expo Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It is the 17th running of the Chili Bowl Nationals presented by Citgo SuperGuard Motor Oil. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed alongside Larry Rice. We don't know if it can actually get any better than last year, but it sure did get bigger. 209 entries.
Yes, and look at all the former winners that are here. I mean, Tony Stewart is back. Sammy Swindell is back. You've got a whole list of people that are the who's who of auto racing back here today.
That's the list of past champions here at the Chili Bowl. Let's show you the list of guys who are running this year that have won championships.
All of these guys that won a championship somewhere in the United States. They're all great race car drivers, and they all are doing great just to be in the main event here.
Now, we've showed you what happened last year here at the Chili Bowl. Well, what about those three combatants this year? They're with the third member of our broadcast crew, Amy East.
Thank you, Marty. And after last year's action, I've been counting down the days to this year's Chili Bowl. And I would hope to have all three of those top contenders with me, but one of them is missing. You can guess which one. But let's start with the third place finisher, Corey Cruzman. Corey, some of the most awesome lap after lap intense battles. Have you ever been part of a Chili Bowl like the one last year?
No, not quite. I mean, to get a race with Doty and Stewart lap after lap, and you know, I mean, I think we did everything but trade colors on the race cars, and that's just a lot of fun. That's what this race is all about, and it just means a lot to come out here and run with those kind of people.
And you know, Corey would have liked to have won that race, and so would Kevin Doty. Corey's locked in tonight. Kevin, wow, you've got your work cut out for you, bud. You're starting last in the second B. Is even the Chili Bowl title, is that even attainable for you tonight?
Oh, I definitely think it's obtainable. We got a great Dodge Mopar, new Coons car. It's definitely attainable, but it's really going to be tough. I mean, you know the caliber of drivers that are here, like Corey and Stewart, and I mean, there's so many names that the list is too far to say. But, you know, it'll be tough, but I'm going to try my best.
Well, and the person that is missing is the guy that did win. That was Tony Stewart. He's sitting up in the stands. He's wanting to watch some of this action, and we're ready to show it to you. Let's go racing.
So let's take a look at our Long John Silver starting grid, and you can see it is our first of two C-Main events. The top 5 advance to the B-Main, and take a look, pick out your favorite driver. There are the first 5 rows, and there are rows 6 through 9, and the last 3 names, Tony Elliott, Billy Weiss, Sammy Swindell, well, they advanced by coming through the D-Main. Now there is Tracy Hines, one of 3 preliminary features back in 2002, and led the first 19 laps of last year's championship race, and then had a mechanical.
Well, he's a great race car driver. He's been around for a long time. And there's another 11 car, Jerry Coons. We've seen that he had trouble in the earlier events here this weekend, but he's very fast. He does very well. He was extremely quick in the midgets and Silver Crown cars this year.
Yeah, he won 3 of 5 Neymar's 5 Crown midget features in 2002, so you know he can drive.
Green flag did not come out. Roger Slack wanted one more time around out there with that green flag, so they'll come around once again. Sammy Swindell's got a long way to go. 18 cars, 15 laps. You have to be in the top 5, so he's got to get going pretty quick.
Field's formed up. Roger Slack waves the green, and we're underway.
Wally Pancratz right away goes to the top of the racetrack and pulls out into the lead. The cushion is not his favorite place to run at all racetracks, but he sure looks comfortable up there in this first lap.
And so far, so good. So lap number 1 is in the book. Wally Pancratz, who finished 4th in the 2002 USAC Western Midget points with 3 wins. Man, he's opening up a gap.
Yeah, Rick Hendricks in that black number 12 car running in 2nd. He also is a Western States Midget driver, so the Western States guys showing the way around here in this C-Main.
And right now, it looks like the high cushion is the way to go.
Yeah, Jerry Coons Jr. just did a nice job. He gave a big slide job there, moved into third spot, so he's moved up nicely here early in the race.
Closing the gap now, the number 12 of Rick Hendricks. Lap times right now in the low 13-second range.
Yeah, Jerry Coons looks to be the fastest race car on the racetrack right now as he's really closed the gap on Rick Hendricks. And once again, you've got to get the car set up for the top. Look at this. Coons goes to the bottom.
Oh, he makes the slide work, but then goes over the cushion and gives the spot back.
Yeah, Rick Hendricks hangs on to it. He was quick enough to know that he got in there too hard and just got back and snuck back under him as Coons went up and over the cushion.
So the black number 12 of Rick Hendricks, the 2002 USAC Western Sprint champion, stays in second spot after that thrilling exchange. And these three basically now in lockstep as the laps are flying by at 13-second clips.
Here he goes again. He's going to try it again. He gets down in under up on that berm. That time he wasn't up far enough, and he could have come up there and run into Hendricks, but he didn't do that.
Halfway here in this 15-lap first of two C mains. And this is the best battle on the racetrack. Remember, top 5 transfer while you're watching this will tell you that Greg Nelson and Craig Carey are in that 4th and 5th spot.
Yeah, those two guys have the last 2 transfer spots, but these guys battling up here in front. Heck of a time. And there's Sammy Swindell. He's mired back a little ways in the pack. He's moved up to 8th. But,
and we've got a yellow. As you can see, the 85 has looped it down in turn number 2, and that's Shane Hollingsworth.
Yeah, he's a young man from the Midwest. He does a great job, and has been very, very quick this summer.
Let's check in with AB East.
Thanks, Marty. This gives us a chance to talk to P.J. Jones. P.J., you're starting on the front row of the first B. Watching this seat, looking like it's on the top. Are you going to be ready to do battle on this cushion?
Well, yeah, I'm on the outside of the front row, so that's good. And, we'll just have to see what they do to the track. They've been changing it all night long. And if it stays the same, it looks like, from what we've just saw that, you're going to have to be up on top. And I think at least it'll be able to pass if it's up there. It's terrible if it's around the bottom like our main event was the other night. So, we're just hoping for a good racetrack, and I think we'll be all right.
Okay, in 1996, PJ finished second. He's still looking for that first Chili Bowl title.
As we're about ready to go back to racing, and 9 of the 15 laps officially in the books. And there is Sammy Swindell. Now he's
back in 8th spot, so he's got to gain 3 more positions. Got to pass 3 cars to get into the B main.
Yeah, but he made it from the C to the A main back in 2000, so he knows how to do it. Green flag flies. Sammy goes to the bottom. Meanwhile, everybody else stays up top. Here goes Coons trying the slide job again.
There's Sammy down on the bottom once again, way up over that berm on the inside, but hasn't made much progress so far. Meanwhile, Wally Pancrat's in that yellow car doing a great job. Staying right on the cushion, saying, if you want to go around me, you're going to have to go someplace else.
Everybody holding station right now. Sammy Swindell, the only car trying to down low.
He's battling for the 6th and final transfer spot. He's really making that bottom work pretty well. Now that he's slid right up in front, and you can see that also the 10 cars moved down to the bottom.
And the yellow has flown once again over in turn number 2. We've got a car spun around. It looks like it's number 75 of Roger Miller. As he has managed to come to a stop. Didn't look like he hit anything. Roger's 9th straight trip to Tulsa. Doesn't look like it's going to be a good ending for it tonight, though, because not enough laps now because he'll go to the back of the field.
Yeah, and to try to come back through this racetrack, even though it does have 2 grooves, the top and the bottom, it's still plenty tough. You got to be hooked up pretty well in order to pass these guys.
Right now, top 5, Pancratz, Rick Hendricks, Jerry Coons, Paul McMahon, Sammy Swindell. He would make it all the way from the back of this field if he can hold on for 4 more laps. Craig Carey is in 6th, Greg Nelson is in 7th, as we are getting ready to go back to green flag racing here in the C main of the 17th running of the Chili Bowl.
Interesting to see if Sammy stays up there and protects his spot. Nope, he's going to go to the bottom. He's going to try to pick up some more because he's going to figure out a way to get a little bit of a run down there in that bottom.
But it's still a gamble because if he misses, he could lose a bundle.
And it doesn't take much of a mistake. And there he bumps wheels. And McMahon, but there are yellow flag is out.
Yeah, we've got a big tip over here on the front straightaway, trying to get the number there. It looks like it is the 25. That is Mike Farmer. He was running back in the back of the pack at 14th position. The other car is the 59 of Jim Sawyer. Well, we've got a chance. Let's remind you that RPM Tonight is the nightly source for motorsports news on television since 1996. Recap of all the latest headlines, RPM Tonight. Tonight, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2. For more, log on to ESPN.com. So we have just a little less than a lap to go. Wally Pancras with 3 laps to go to manage to make it into the B main. And there you can see the top 3. There is 4th place Paul McMahon. Sammy Swindell hanging on to the last transfer spot. And watch out for that number 30, the yellow car. Kerry trying to take it away from him.
Well, he sure did, and there's a big mix-up down the back straightaway. Sammy Swindell got clear down into the infield, but managed to hang on to that spot.
Yeah, notice the 11 of Tracy Hines. He came up, managed to get his way past Kerry, and is now moved into the 5th position as he has taken over a transfer spot as well. Swindell has moved to 4th, and there is
Yeah, McMahon is the guy. McMahon, he's the guy who got mixed up back there and lost several spots. So the big break for Tracy Hines is he moved up several spots when that big melee happened.
Remember, McMahon was in a transfer position. That's what happened when I looked up and I saw that Sammy had jumped up. I wondered, well, wait a minute, he was shown in 5th. All of a sudden I see him in 4th and Tracy in 5th, and there's your reason why. And it's unfortunate for Paul McMahon as his day looks to be over. No, this is not an episode of ER. The fumes can get a little strong here in the Expo Center, and some of the fans take the opportunity to use the breather mask. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. 2 laps remain, and still on point is Wally Pancras, and holding on to the 5th spot is Paul McMahon. They put him back into that 5th position for the restart, but right now he is gone. And it is Tracy Hines that is officially shown now in 5th. So we had a scoring error momentarily.
Yeah, Tracy Hines still hanging on there, but he and Sammy Swindell kind of battling each other. They have fallen back from the top 3. The top 3 kind of pulling away.
So it is Wally Pancras taking the checkered flag. And the number 12 of Rick Hendricks, Jerry Coons, Sammy Swindell, and Tracy Hines is in the final transfer position. Take a look at the final results as you take a look at Wally Pancras touring the track one more time, and there are the 5 that are going to transfer into the 1st B main. Time now for a real special treat. We've got our first ever Ford Focus Midget Race of Champions. This is 10 cars, a lot of the big stars of the sport, and it got off to a rousing start at a news conference. Here's what happened.
It's just another race car, and I know, like Tony Stewart, he can drive anything. And
all right, we're getting a little bit from Lasowski already. So what's that all about? We're going to see some more bumping and banging in these things?
Yeah, he ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till we get on the racetrack.
Well, so far you've went around and about bumped everybody at this press conference. Are we going to see the same when you get in this Ford Focus?
We want to win this race, and I figure I might as well draw first blood because I figure they're going to tee off on us the rest of the night.
Again, Selzy and some of these guys are talking a little bit of talk, and I think that's bad karma. So I'm keeping it quiet, and I'm going to flip my lid down. I don't even know how to tear a tear off yet. I'm going to learn that maybe first lap, and it's just going to be fun. And since I'm in the back of the pack, I'm going to let everything pile up in front of me and drive around it.
Well, there's a couple of nice rounds. I don't think they've worked too well out on the track. We've got a break in the action. Let's take a break here at the Chili Bowl.
ESPN2 presentation of the 2003 Chili Bowl is brought to you by Citgo. We know you. By Long John Silver's, this is Seafood Country. By Diamond Cut Jeans, try a pair, they just fit better. And by Natural Gear, the science of camouflage.
Down on trackside, Larry, we're getting ready for a first. The Ford Focus Midget Race of Champions, and it has been a stitch listening to Gary Selzy all week long, the 3-time NHRA top fuel champion, having to learn how to turn left.
I got to give these drag racers a lot of credit. To come here and run on the dirt and slide your wheels like these guys have to do takes a lot of nerve, actually.
Well, let's go down and find out what's going on the infield. I think Amy East is down there somewhere with that group.
Well, and somehow or another, I think this is organized chaos. And I call it chaos because these guys are fired up. And we have heard a lot from Gary Scelzi this week. A lot of trash talking, for sure. All right, this is it. Can you back up all the smack you've been doing all week?
Hey, I've been trying to run like a coward out of this whole deal. These two keep pushing the deal bigger and bigger. We're going to have a good time tonight. I just hope I go 20 laps without my arms falling off. And Don Schumacher, this really isn't Gary Scelzi and Jim Gennard and everybody at Oakley. This is my evil twin, Larry.
Yeah, everybody has evil twins, and one of those is sometimes, you know, Lasowski, maybe. We saw you in that press conference. There wasn't one of these guys that you didn't go push and shove. Now it's time to put the helmet on. Are you ready?
We're ready to go. We got our drag queens up front, and we're aiming for them. You know, just as long as they don't pull the chute at the end of the straightaway, we're looking good. But, hey, this is for a great cause, and we just love doing this for the fans here at the Chili Bowl and every morning for you at home.
And what he means by those drag queens up front is that we just got word, a really neat announcement, and I'm getting a new hairdo right now, is that the drag guys are going to be running on the front row. I have to figure that this is the Tony Stewart look. Tony, I'm liking, you should be a hairstylist. All right, enough about my hair. If it's not my hair, it's bunny ears.
You're starting to look like Matt Yoakum with your pretty hair on TV.
Yes,
so,
you know, I don't carry a comb in my back pocket, though. But anyway, this is going to be fun. Are you excited for this Ford Focus race?
Yeah, I mean, this is a new series that USAC is starting. It's kind of an entry level into midget racing, so I think it's something that's very positive for, USAC. And the fun part's going to be messing with Scelzi. I mean, Scelzi won't shut up. I mean, Lasowski and I and Scelzi are really good buddies, and he's been bragging about this thing for 2 months now, and finally we finally got him nervous. I don't care what he told you, but he's nervous now. So I was supposed to start in the front row. I'd rather go to the back and start messing with him a little bit. So it'll be fun. It's a good deal. I mean, we're doing this for charity tonight, and it's nice to be able to come to the Chili Bowl and give something back.
Okay, and this is a really neat series. The Ford Focus and my new hairdo. Hey, if this isn't exciting, then the Ford Focus race will be.
Yeah, it really is a new concept. In fact, Larry Rice had a few moments earlier tonight to sort of take us behind the scenes and give us an up-close look at not only the great racing that we're going to see, but the cost-effectiveness of this new series.
This midget looks almost like every other midget here in the Chili Bowl. And in fact, the chassis itself is like the rest of them. It's the engine that's the big difference. This is a Ford Focus sealed engine. It costs only $7,800 brand new. Most of the engines here cost about $40,000 and have to be overhauled every 3 or 4 races. This engine will run for 40 races, and at that point, you don't rebuild it, you throw it away. You take off the injectors, you take off the headers, you take off the pumps, and you take off the pan. You put a brand new engine in there, total cost about $3 grand. Pretty cheap way to go racing.
And let's give you a little more data on what the Ford Focus is all about. Their standard midget chassis. In fact, you could literally change the larger, more expensive motor for this engine. It's a 2-liter Z-Tech ZX3 with fuel injection. They run the standard Hoosier midget tires. And they've got a starter motor. And look at the cost. And Larry, this is the big key. It's less than the motor alone for full tilt buggy.
Yeah, it certainly is. That's the real reason for this series, to cut the cost for beginners to get into midget racing. And I think it's an excellent idea, and I think it's going to work.
So now as the cars fire off, and notice no push trucks needed because of the starters, let's take a look at our Ford Focus. It's easy for me to say. Long John Silver starting grid. Dave Darland and Tony Stewart were supposed to be on the front row. This is the way it would have shaped up, but as you heard, Ron Capps, who would have been back in row number 5, and Gary Scelzi in row number 3, they're going to get to start on the point. And J.J. Yaley has opted to go to the rear with a little side wager. He asked Emmett Hahn, the promoter of the Chili Bowl, he said, hey, look, if I win from the back, will you double my prize money for the charity that I'm running for? Because all 10 guys are running for local charities. And Emmett said, absolutely.
Yes, and JJ's running for the AIDS Coalition Pantry Program. Dave Darland's running for the Salvation Army. Tony Stewart for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the Special Olympics for Tim Crowley. I mean, it goes on and on. All kinds of charities, and every one of them is going to benefit from this race.
Now, the warm-up laps could be a little interesting here. There's a little bumping going on, and you can see that the number 3, that is Ron Capps, the Carlsbad, California funny car driver, is up front. There's Gary Scelzi with the number 24 right alongside of him. Gary running for the Big Brothers and Sisters, Ron for the Akdar Shrine Center. And there's the 31 of Tim Crawley for Special Olympics. That's his charity. And right alongside is the number 6X Scott Bloomquist. He's for Little Lighthouse. And we're getting ready to go green flag racing as you see the rest of the cars falling into line. And
yeah, it looks like Dave Darlin, the 03 car, is going to start back there in 5th. Alongside him, Josh Lakatos, who won a silver medal in the Olympics in 1996 for track shooting.
And we go green, and immediately, oh no, and Selzy goes into Caps, goes over twice, and he didn't even survive turn 1. Is he never going to live this down when we go to Pomona?
Well, he certainly is not afraid of these things.
I think he forgot he had to turn left.
Well, they've been kidding him about not opening the chutes. He certainly didn't do that. He drove her down in there plenty hard enough.
He saw Tim Crawley come underneath him, and he, wow.
Yeah, he just got in a bad position, and that's one of the things you got to learn with these cars. The wheels, open wheel cars, they will get up over somebody, and that's exactly what happened to him. He got over Caps and got that thing upside down and onto the wall. Doesn't look like it was damaged very badly, but his ego probably hurt more than anything.
Yeah, poor Selzy, the Big Brothers and Big Sisters, as he's pulled over to the side, talking to one of the officials. They're making sure that the car is okay. And Ron Capps is looking over to Crawley and saying,
is that the way this is supposed to happen?
Yeah. And so it'll be Crawley and Ron Capps up front. Look at Capps looking around to the left here. He's trying to get an eye on that flag. Crawley gets a great jump. Capps is way too high, and everybody's going to start going by.
Yeah, Dave Darlin, the 03 car, right down at the bottom of the racetrack, making a great run here early in the race.
And up high it is Tim Crawley in the 31. Capps hanging on there, and that's Josh Lakatos in the 26, right in front of Ron.
17, Brett Hearn doing a nice job as he's running right up on the cushion.
Brett Hearn, of course, has almost 600 career feature wins in dirt modified racing. He said he was looking forward to running with Lasowski and the boys. Where is Lasowski, by the way? Oh, he's back in 6th right now.
Yeah, he's in that red car. He's moving up. He's passed a couple of cars in the last couple of laps, so he's moved his way, and that's J.J. Yaley following him.
Yaley, of course, started all the way in the back trying to win this thing. There is the 31, your leader, Tim Crawley, racing for Special Olympics of Oklahoma. 4 laps of 15 down. Dave Darlin 2nd, Brett Hearn 3rd, Lakatos 4th, Lasowski 5th, Bloomquist 6th. Tony Stewart's all the way back in 7th. Hasn't made much of a move.
Well, obviously that's not his style. He won't be happy with that, but I don't think these guys had a real good chance to work with these race cars and set them up the way they'd like. They're going to have to run them the way they came, so that might be a disadvantage to some of these guys.
Lakatos has probably the biggest advantage. He's had the most seat time in the car. He won a special race from the normal competitors to become the 10th eligible person in the event, and there he is in the 26 car right behind the 20 of Danny Lasowski. And there he is.
Yeah, and like we said, these guys, that was one of the incentives to bring these cars here. The guy who did the best in the preliminary nights got to run against the big boys, and Lakatos did the best of any of them. He's out there right now.
Tony Stewart has moved up to 6th place now. There is Tony running the black 94. He's closing the gap on the 5th place car of, well, actually, he and J.J. Yaley battling it out for the 6th place position, I should say. And we've got a yellow. Something has happened. Do we have... Is this a NASCAR yellow? I'm looking for something. There must be debris on the track.
It must be. I don't see anything going on out there right now, so they're just closing the field in a little bit, I think.
Well, we've got a moment. Let's check in with Amy East.
Our 2000 Chili Bowl champion, you were part of an awesome race last night. It was up on the top. You made some awesome moves in traffic. Can you duplicate that tonight?
I don't know. This place is really tough. You know, we're going to go out and give it 100%, and the Chili Bowl takes a lot of luck. It's usually more luck than talent, and I'm in a good car, and we just got a good starting spot and all the right brakes yesterday.
When you won the 2000 Chili Bowl championship, it was on the bottom. Last night, you were on the top. Which do you prefer?
I like to run the top because I like to run flat out, especially here. You know, you can really charge into the corners here when it builds a nice little curve. But sometimes curve gets too high here for the midgets and starts snatching the noses and gets real exciting. So I think if I had my choice, I'd rather roll around the top than the bottom. Bottom's such a patient game, and 50 laps, that's a long time on the bottom.
All right, he won the prelim last night. That's Corey Kruzman.
And Amy, he also was quickest in the hot laps for those that have already qualified for the 50-lap championship event. He was the only car in the 12-second range, so Corey Kruzman could be the man to beat here at the 17th Chili Bowl Nationals. Nationals, that's part of the pits. Believe it or not, this building is that big. 200-plus cars, plenty of room for display, and 13,000 fans. Like we're getting ready to go green, and the flag flies.
See, Stewart goes to the top now. He started to the bottom, and I couldn't make that work, so he ran right around to the top.
I'm keeping an eye. Oh, there's Selzy. You just saw him scooting over the cushion and almost colliding with the wall again. He and Ron Capps have slid back to the back of the field. They've got their own little battle going. Selzy, they don't want to be the one to finish dead last.
Crowley, meanwhile, just doing a great job up and leading this thing. Oh, you can see there, Ron Capps on the bottom, Selzy on the top. And I got to tell you, it's not as easy to run that top as you might think. It's very, very tough to do that and do it properly. And he's not falling all that far behind.
Capps' best lap time, a 14.2, a 13.7 for Gary Selzy. Meanwhile, there is the leader, and he's stretching it out, the 31 of Tim Crawley.
Dave Darland running in second, and Josh Lakatos has moved back into third spot after falling back to about sixth. Right before that yellow, he's moved right back. Oh, he hit the cushion pretty hard right there. Almost got over it. Maybe he loses a spot as they come down to the checker. Two laps to go.
Yeah, two to go.
Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the checkered flag, but he wasn't waving it yet. I just thought he was.
So right now, it looks like the 31 with the white flag out. 1 lap to go for Tim Crawley in Special Olympics of Oklahoma is going to be the biggest beneficiary of all, although all the charities will benefit. Here he comes out of the final turn, taking the checkered flag and the victory ahead of Dave Darland, Josh Lakatos, Fred Hearn, Danny Lasowski, J.J. Yaley, and oh, guess what? Right at the finish line, Gary Selzy decides to make the highlight reel one more time.
Yes, and he hurt that car a lot worse this time than he did the first time. He got into that outside retaining wall pretty hard. He got up over the cushion, smacked the wall real hard with the right rear, climbed it with the right front, and then it just kind of took off on him. And you can see that front end got all mangled up in that fence. And you guys are going to have to do some work on that race car.
Well, we're going to have to find out from Amy if he likes being in the seat of a car when it blows up at 300 miles an hour, more or less than what he just experienced.
I don't care what kind of cars you run. That is not fun.
Well, it's for a good cause, and it looks like we only damaged 1 car out of 10, and there is your race winner. And the cheer is for Selzy as he gets out. Now they cheer for Tim Crawley, and Selzy is A-OK. And Amy?
Well, we're catching up with Tim here as he gets his helmet off. Wow, you were good at the start. You ran the cushion just like you're used to in your sprint car, but this is a little bit different a machine, isn't it?
It's a little different, and I don't know if Tony was lying to me or not. He said it's for charity, and they're going to be sandbagging and all that, but I don't care. This might be the only checkered I ever get in the Chili Bowl, and I got it.
All right, but and obviously it was fun, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I'm really just honored to be a part of this. It's all for a good cause. I hope it put on a good good show for the fans. Need to thank all these Ford Focus guys for bringing these cars out here. They did this for no purse money. They raced for 2 nights for nothing. I think they got a set of wheels, but I think they feel real honored to be here, and I know I do.
All right, well, he's the ASCS champion. That's what gets him into this championship race. Tim Crawley brings home the inaugural victory.
There's your top 5. Tim Crawley on top at the Ford Focus Race of Champions here at the Chili Bowl Nationals. Oh, and before we go to break, there is Gary.
All right, Gary, you made the highlight reel not once, but twice. You wanted to start and stop that race upside down, didn't you?
No, I really didn't. You know what? I Hey, the adrenaline starts flying, you know, and I mean, I had to beat this guy. I'm going to race him a lot this year, and we wanted to do really good for the drag racers, and Ron did a great job representing the drag racers. I don't know how good I did, but I mean, but people are going to know who I am when I leave, and that's not how I really wanted to do it, but I had a great time. This is some tough stuff, but your heart starts pumping so hard, and I mean, the desire to win comes out even if you know you don't have a shot against these guys that are great drivers. I'm honored that I got to be invited here. I'm sorry about the car, but I'll help pay for it. And man, this is exciting. Jim Gennard from Oakley, Schumacher, Metco Tools Distributors. Well, I think we need to ship these guys some tools. Thanks.
He's sweating, you guys. There is sweat dripping off his face. And Ron, I saw it. I don't know if the cameras did, but you did a 360 down here, so you were a little wild in that Focus car too.
I was trying to get a caution. I've heard these guys say it. The first lap, what happens? I go in the corner and Selzy goes right into me and bent the pipe and hit my arm. And I knew it was Lasowski or somebody had to punt him in the first turn. And I thought he was going into my cockpit and it bent the pipe over, so the temperature was going up. I thought, oh man. Near the end of the race, Selzy was on the outside, and I saw him. I said, look at him, man. He's been doing donuts all weekend, and now he's up at the top. He was doing great. And I was worried about my temperature gauge, but I tell you, he got the altitude record here by far. It was awesome.
Better him than you, right?
Way better him than me.
All right, you guys. These guys are jazzed and having fun, and for a good cause.
Oh, and I guarantee you, we're going to take highlights to our first race at Pomona, and everybody is going to get a chance to see it on the NHRA drag racing scene. Take a look at the crowd. We've got to take commercial break as there is the celebration. Tim Crawley, your winner here in the Ford Focus Midget Race of Champions.
This ESPN2 presentation of the 2003 Chili Bowl is brought to you by Citgo, We Know You. By Long John Silver's, this is Seafood Country. By Diamond Cut Jeans, try a pair, they just fit better. And by Natural Gear, the science of camouflage.
And back here at the Expo Center at the Tulsa Expo Raceway for the 17th Annual Chili Bowl Nationals, Marty Reed along with Larry Rice, Amy East in the pits, and we're getting ready for our first of two B-main features. Let's take a look at our Long John Silver starting grid. It is Jay Drake, P.J. Jones on point, Darlin, Flesher, Damian Gardner, Brian Gerster, Chad DeSelle, Dave Canfield, Clay Kepper, Aaron Fiskus in row 5. Then it's Ronnie Day, Gary Wright, Tony Rossi, Ray Bull, Ron Kuhn, and then the guys that transferred, Pancratz, Hendricks, Kuhn, Swindell, and Tracy Hines.
Yes, 20 cars, 20 laps. You have to finish in the top 6 to make it into the A main. So believe me, 6th position is going to be one that everybody wants. That was Sammy Swindell, who starts way in the back. He's got a long way to go and a lot of good cars if he wants to get into that top 6.
You saw that 71 of Jay Drake. Of course, he was the 2001 Chili Bowl winner. Had to sit out last year due to injuries, but he's back. Wants to get back into victory lane again. P.J. Jones on the outside of row number 1. Finished second in the 1996 Chili Bowl behind a guy by the name of Sammy Swindell.
Yeah, I saw P.J. and his brother Page have a heck of a race here one time. I think they actually took each other out in the main event, and the crowd went wild.
And Page is here, cheering brother on, and green flag flies, and we're underway.
And look at P.J. He's not bashful. He's hung right up there, but Jay Drake just wouldn't give in. He was right in the middle of the racetrack, forced P.J. over the cushion, and took the lead.
The 29 car of Dave Darlin is down low. He's trying the low side. Whoa, little bump and slide.
He tried to do the same thing. He forced P.J. over the cushion, but this time P.J. wins as he's hung in there and hung on to second place.
And we've got a yellow down in turn number 2. The 22 of Ray Bull has turned it around and come to a stop.
That'll give everybody a chance to regroup. Some guys that helps, some guys it hurts. Some of the guys there in the back who had passed a couple of cars on that last lap, they're going to have to give those positions back, and they're not going to like that very much.
99 of the top 100 men and 97 of the top 100 women converge on Melbourne for the Australian Open. Jennifer Capriati, Martina Hingis, Serena and Venus Williams, Andre Agassi, Leighton Hewitt all scheduled to compete. Coverage of the Australian Open begins tonight at 11 Eastern on ESPN2. And for more, log on to ESPN.com. Well, Tracy Hines decided to have a discussion with officials, and he's been taken out of action. I mean, they just parked him.
He lost. He's mad, and he's not going to get a race anymore at the Chili Bowl.
So, we get a restart without Tracy Hines involved, and up front, Jay Drake, his Mopar teammate, still on point.
Yeah, and he's doing a nice job. Dave Darland has moved to the top of the racetrack, though. He ran the bottom the first part of the race. P.J. Jones still in third place, running right behind him.
BJ, of course, with that flat left front, you can see he's starting to lose some ground with the top two. Right behind him is Jeff Flesher.
Well, it does change the weight distribution on the car when that left front goes down. So it changes it, and it changes the way the car handles. You really have to work a lot harder when you're doing it the way he's doing it.
And it looks like right now, no one is going to venture down low.
Well, there's a few cars in the back that have moved down there, but all the guys in the top 5 or 6, all running around the top of the racetrack. That's the fastest place. The cushion is where the wet, moist mud is, and it's a lot easier to get a hold of that mud than it is that real slick black stuff down on the inside of the racetrack.
There's Sammy Swindell. He went low, and look at this, coming right back is the number 19 of Ronnie Day, and these guys just trading it back and forth.
Wow, Ronnie Day was not happy with Sammy Swindell, and he came right back and gave him a little bit of a body slam there and got the position back.
That's 9th and 10th. Throw them in with the mix with Chad DeSelle, and these guys are duking it out.
Yeah, Ronnie Day hit the cushion a little bit hard and put himself back a couple of spots. Doesn't take much. You hit that thing a little bit too hard, and it really upsets the race car.
Swindell in 9th as we go back to the front of the field. Now, there's nothing wrong with your screen at home. What you're seeing is a little bit of the dust that's starting to kick up, but also the residual of the fumes. And that's that film you sort of see here inside the Expo Center. 10 laps to go as we hit the halfway point. It's Drake, Darland, P.J. Jones, Flesher, Damian Gardner, and Gary Wright has now moved into the 6th spot. Sammy Swindell is up to 7th.
Yeah, that was Gary Wright in that white 11 car we had a shot of just a few minutes ago. So still a lot of battling going on near the back. And there is Sammy Swindell, as he's a few car lengths back, but he is in the transfer spot. No, he's not in the transfer spot. No, he's in 7th.
He's in 7th. Right. He's trying to catch up to Gary Wright. There is Jay Drake now getting into lap traffic as he goes around the 22 of Ray Bull, who's in 17th.
You can see a lot of the cars that are running in the back are running on the bottom of the racer. Oh, we got somebody spun out there.
Wally Pankratz.
Yeah, sure is.
So Wally brings out a yellow, and it's going to mean now that Sammy Swindell's going to get a chance to tighten up right behind Gary Wright. In fact, wait a minute, up in turn number 3, we had another car stall, and that is the 11C of Jerry Coons again.
Yeah,
so we've got to take a commercial break. We'll come back to finish this first of 2 B mains as the troubles continue here for Jerry Coons. Back here at our first of 2 B mains at the 17th running of the Chili Bowl, and you can see the top 5 right there. And in the all-important 6th and last transfer spot, it is Gary Wright. And he is in the number 11W. There he is, right there. Gary dethroned as NCRA Sprint Champion for the first time in 10 years. Sounds like a John Force kind of statistic.
Yeah, he's been pretty tough. Hard to beat, but right now, all he wants to do is make the A main here at the Chili Bowl.
We go back to green flag racing. Jay Drake up front. And P.J. Jones still in 3rd, hanging on desperately despite the flat left front.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's done a great job running that car, all the trouble he had there in that first lap, and hasn't really had any problems since then. He hasn't really been challenged all that much here in the last few laps.
You see Jeff Flesher sort of slap the wall a little bit. No damage, though. He still maintains 4th.
Yeah, he sure does. And, you know, he's doing a nice job. He's a young man that's not as well known as some of these other guys, but he's run a great race. He's run the thing nice and straight. And Sammy Swindell has moved into 5th right behind him.
Yeah, Gary Wright's been pushed back to 7th. Damian Gardner is in 6th. And Sammy Swindell right there, the 4-time winner. Could he do it again? He went from the C main to the A main back in 2000. Here he is in 2003. And he just goes around the 17 of P.J. Jones. He's now 3rd. Look out.
Well, he's not a champion for no reason, and that's exactly the reason. He can take some chances. He does some things that some of the other guys don't want to take the chance to do, and he's done so well here in this B main because it's not easy to get off of that top groove and still pass cars.
Started 19th. He's up to 3rd. An incredible run here in the B main as the white flag comes out for Jay Drake.
Dave Darland's still in 2nd place. Swindell in 3rd, P.J. Jones. So those top 4 guys looking pretty good right now.
And there is Sammy Swindell. Here comes Jay Drake. Jay Drake is going to win. Dave Darland 2nd. Sammy Swindell is going to make it to his 14th A main here at the Chili Bowl. An incredible statistic and an incredible run here by the veteran and the World of Outlaws runner, as he has done it again and made it to the A main.
Well, he hasn't run as many races the last couple of years as he used to, but he certainly hasn't lost any of that spark or any of that drive to go out and win. He did a great job there.
Let's check in with Amy East.
By far one of the biggest surprises so far in the 2003 Chili Bowl Nationals has got to be Luke Ike. Never been to the Chili Bowl. You locked yourself in to the A main tonight by a 3rd place finish on Thursday. How exciting is that for you?
Well, it's probably one of the biggest races I've ever been in this year. By far, any race I've ever done, I can't believe I made it this quickly without going through any transfers or B mains, but I'm just excited to be here.
All right, and he might be skipping around tonight in the big show, guys. He's been fun to watch so far this Chili Bowl, and he's only 22 years old.
Thank you, Amy, and we will be seeing Luke in the main event. And we'll also be seeing the top 6. Jay Drake, Darland, Swindell, Jones, Flesher, and Damian Gardner. And poor Ronnie Day, he was in the top 6, but not when it came to the end. Time now for our 2nd B main. We'll find out the final 6 that are going to transfer to our 50-lap championship event. Will it be Robbie Flock, Matt Westfall, they're on point. Brad Kuhn, Mike Hess in row 2. Nick Lundgren on our Long John Silver starting grid will line up alongside of Shane Matthews. Dallin McKenney, Bobby East in row 4. Blake Fees, Joey Montgomery in the top half of the field. Bottom half, Teddy Beach, Ron Garrett Gregory, Andy Pierce, Troy Rutherford, Kevin Doty, Tim Schaefer, John Wolf, Tim Crawley, Kenny Lewis, Mike Leslie. And up front, Robbie Flock, the 1S, making his first Chili Bowl appearance since 1997. It's good to have him back.
Yeah, Robbie came back to the Midwest, ran for a couple of years, couldn't get any good rides, went back to the West Coast and really didn't run a lot out there. He ran a lot this year, though, did very well, and he wants to race just as bad as he ever did, and he's obviously just as good as he ever was.
And right alongside of him in the 11S, Matt Westfall, 2nd in a midget, 3rd in a sprint car, 5th in a champ car during 2002. So this is a big opportunity for him. He's on the front row as we get ready to go green.
See guys run right to the top, other guys run right to the bottom. As Brad Kuhn in that 67 car ran right around the bottom and made a charge. Look at Flock, though. He went to the bottom, then right to the top.
Brad Kuhn has moved into 3rd spot. Mike Hess is back in 4th. A lot of bumping going on back in the middle of the pack. So far, everybody's been able to hang on. No yellow.
Yeah, that was Bobby East back there in the middle of that pack that got up over the cushion. Matt Westfall in the 11 car running the cushion, and Robbie Flock trying to get around him down on the bottom side.
Right now it is Westfall up front, Flock 2nd, Brad Kuhn 3rd, Mike Hess 4th, Brian Gerster is 5th, Nick Lundgren is 6th, and Joey Montgomery outside looking in, and there is your race leader.
Yeah, Westfall doing a very nice job up there as he's got into a little groove. When you get into that little groove up on the top and the race car's working really well, it makes it very difficult for anybody behind you to catch you and pass you. And right now, Westfall's kind of in that little zone.
I feel like on these long shots we should have Jimi Hendrix singing Purple Haze.
Yeah, it's there's been a lot of races in here, a lot of cars running around this racetrack, and it does get a little bit hazy in here as the night goes on.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with your television set. Right now, the only thing wrong is nobody can seem to get down to the bottom and hold on. Brad Doty in 14th. Remember, he was part of that great battle last year in the A main, along with the eventual race winner, Tony Stewart.
Well, Kevin Doty, he got up over the cushion a little bit that time, almost got into the fence, but Kevin Doty's run here for a long, long time. He's always run well here at the Chili Bowl, but sometimes you just need luck as well as being able to run well.
He's back in 15th, and Tim Schaefer, our C-Main winner, is in 16th. So right now the yellow flag has come out down in turns 1 and 2. We've got a problem, as it looks like Andy Pierce is one of the cars involved. Cannot see who the other one is. Troy Rutherford, perhaps?
Yeah, I believe it is Troy Rutherford in that yellow number 7 car. So they got together, got stopped on the racetrack, so everybody get a chance to bunch back up. For some guys, again, that's a good break. For other guys, not such a good break.
And it gives us a chance to check in again with Amy East.
Thanks, Marty. And he's our 2001 Chili Bowl champion. And tonight he won the first of the 2 B main events. Jay Drake, what is it like out there?
It's a typical Chili Bowl, really. I mean, it's treacherous racing in any race you're in, and we never like to be at a semi, but especially here at the Chili Bowl, because there's just so many things that can happen to you. And you know, so we're a little nervous going in, but we're glad we got the win and get this Mopar Keith Kunz Tony Stewart car into the feature. You know, it's a brand new effort this year, and last thing I wanted to do is miss the first race out for him. So now we got it in, and I really got my work cut out for him, and try to get this car up to the front of the feature.
All right, we'll be watching Jay Drake in tonight's big race.
So stay with us when we come back. A lot more action. Back at the Tulsa Expo Center for the 17th running of the Chili Bowl Nationals, presented by Citgo Superguard Motor Oil. As you take a look at our current leader, Matt Westphal, and he is ahead of Robbie Flock, Brian Gerster, Brad Kuhn, Nick Lundgren, and Mike Hess now on the bubble as he's in the final transfer spot. Outside looking in, Joey Montgomery and Dallin McKinney in 7th and 8th. A little further back in 9th, it's Teddy Beach and Bobby East rounds out your top 10.
Yeah, and those guys back there, Bobby East, some of those guys are going to have to get going pretty quick, because it's not a lot. Well, there's half the race to go, but still, you know, it's tough to pass here, so you can't wait around forever. You got to get going.
9 laps completed. It'll be halfway next time by. Whoa, getting a little high.
Brad Kuhn just kind of forced Brian Gerster up and over that cushion. He, you know, Gerster didn't have much choice. It was either get run into or go over the cushion. He chose just to jump over that cushion. Robbie Flock kind of doing the same thing right now, as he's down on the inside and run right in the middle of the black stuff. And look at that. He made a pass right in the middle of the black on the racetrack. You don't see that happen. Oh, look out! Brad Kuhn just got a little too close, a little too eager, and got over that left or the right rear wheel and went upside down, and went upside down pretty hard.
So Kuhn, who calls a suburb of Indianapolis, the west side of Avon, goes home and had a 3rd place until this moment.
Team Mopar comes together in the wrong way right there, as he just got up over the right rear of Matt Westphal, and he took off. And he was probably the fastest race car on the racetrack for the last 4 or 5 laps. He'd really been running well, and but he had to have the cushion, and that's where he was trying to run. He just got a little too close, misjudged it ever so slightly, and that's all it takes.
In fact, checking the board, he has the fastest race lap, period, of anybody out there. So the race is over for Brad Kuhn, and we've got to take commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up here in our second of 2 B mains. Like we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing.
Nick Lundgren in the 40 car, and Flock is still, everybody has kind of moved down off the cushion into that black stuff now all of a sudden.
Isn't it amazing how one guy can set the tone and everybody says, hey, if he can do it, I got to try it.
Yeah, now look at this. They're all, every one of them, nobody's running the top, nobody's running the bottom. They're all running right in there. There's a lot of rubber on the racetrack. That black stuff is rubber, comes off the tires. And once it gets built up enough, it is actually stickier than wet mud around the top of the racetrack. And obviously, oh, look at Teddy Beach. He's still trying to run the top.
And unfortunately, Teddy does the same thing again and is going to bump him out of the transfer spot as they come by the stripe, this time completing lap 14.
Now the guys now that are running up, Kevin Doty.
And Big trouble for Doty as he was running in the 11th position. He brings out a yellow. There's Troy Rutherford as well. And we talked about Teddy Beach. He dropped all the way down to 9th.
Yeah, we might also mention that Bobby Yeast went out a few minutes ago when Brad Kuhn got upside down. I'm not sure whether he had a problem, what kind of a problem he had, but he was pulled off the racetrack during that same period of time.
So we'll try and get the cars refired as we get ready, and gives us a chance to tell you that 99 of the top 100 men and 97 of the top 100 women converge on Melbourne for the Australian Open. The list includes Jennifer Capriati, Martina Hingis, Serena and Venus Williams, Andre Agassi, Leighton Hewitt. They're all scheduled to compete. Coverage of the Australian Open begins tonight at 11 Eastern on ESPN2. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Green flag flies. We're at it again.
Al, it appears that everybody has moved down near the bottom of the racetrack.
And I will tell you that Kevin Doty has turned off into the infield, so his Chili Bowl is over for 2003, but not for Robbie Flock. It could be a very nice return. Not since 1997 has Flock run this track, and right now he's well out in front, leading the way.
Yeah, he's running, again, about car length higher than anybody else. Everybody else trying to stay right on the bottom. He's running right in the middle of the black, and he's really got that thing hooked up.
But John Wolf has been bumped back to 7th.
Yeah, Dal McKinney's doing a nice job as he's moved around John Wolf. And most of these guys have moved down near the bottom of the racetrack, trying to, get a better grip of the racetrack. And obviously, the racetrack has changed a lot in the last 5 or 6 laps.
Battle right now is for 2nd. As you can see, Westphal trying to hold on. Gerster trying to get around him. Meanwhile, up front, Robbie Flock has checked out. Here comes white flag. This time by, Flock has already taken the white flag. Uh-oh. The number 3 car, John Wolf, gets tagged once, then twice. And we've got another yellow.
Yeah, he got up a little bit high, and then he got banged into. And then he got into the cushion, and those 3 little incidents all in a row were too much for him, and he got upside down. Tough break for him.
So John, who at one point was in a transfer position, is unstrapping the belts. Don't forget, RPM Tonight, your nightly source for motorsports news on television since 1996. Join John Kernan for a recap of all the latest headlines. RPM Tonight, 7:30 Eastern here on ESPN2. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Larry, take a look as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. That's our race leader, Robbie Flock.
The left front shock has broken off that car. I'm not sure how long it's been like that. I hadn't noticed it before, but he's only got to hang on for one more lap. It looks like it actually helped him. Maybe that's why he started going so fast. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, nobody's going to take it away from him. There's the checkered flag. So Robbie Flock takes this 2nd B main. And we've got another rollover at the end of the race. Dallin McKinnon, who does make it into the transfer spot. He was 6th. He gets tagged right after the finish line down into turn 1.
Well, I think what happened, everybody was trying to get into that 6th position. As we take a look at it again, everybody's vying so hard for that 5th or 6th and final transfer position. Whoa, he just got over the guy in front of him. I thought maybe Teddy Beach had gotten into him, but he didn't. He just got over that wheel because he didn't want to let off the gas, or he might have lost that spot.
Well, and for McKinney, it's going to be a challenge to get ready for the A main. That looked like the suspension on the right front was damaged.
And look at the way that car's sitting. I mean, with no left front shock, that thing is falling way over in the left front corner.
We've got to take a commercial break. Stay with us. When we come back, we're down to the final race, the A main, 50 laps here at the Chili Bowl. Larry Rice, I'm Marty Reed, and you're just looking outside the Expo Center here at the Chili Bowl Nationals, presented by Citgo Superguard Motor Oil. And this is the scene inside as we're getting ready for our 50-lap championship event. We started with 209 entries. We began today with 203 cars still able to compete. It started with 2 H mains, that's right. And now we get down to the final 24, and one guy is going to go home as the 2003 champion. Here's our Long John Silver starting grid. Dan Bors, Corey Kruzman on the front row. Then it's Scott Hatton, Tony Stewart, Randy Cook, Jimmy Sills, Jason Meyer, Luke Ike, Don Droud, Greg Lukert, Eric Fike, and Danny Lasowski in row 6. In row 7, Jay Drake, Robbie Flock, Dave Darlin, Matt Westfall, Sammy Swindell, Brian Gerster, P.J. Jones, Nick Lundgren, Jeff Flesher, Mike Hess, Damian Gardner, and Alan McKinney. And Sammy Swindell, the only man who made it from the C mains all the way to the A main. Let's check in with Amy.
Well, isn't it nice to see Jimmy Sills back at the Chili Bowl after making the absentee list last year and a very disappointing 21st place finish in 2001? Silsy is fired up. He was awesome in Wednesday night's prelim, coming home second after a little mistake. And as a professor who teaches a driving school on dirt, he knows how to correct those mistakes. Look for Jimmy Sills to be strong tonight.
He'll start on the outside of row number 3. Take a look at that number 47 car. The consensus up here, I think, between you and me and everybody else is Kruzman's the guy.
He's going to be tough to beat. Tony Stewart right behind him. He's going to be tough. Boy, you know, if you come from the back to beat those two guys, you're going to have your work cut out for you, please.
Corey Kruzman's been a Tulsa winner in 4 of his last 5 features, including the prelims and the mains. There's Tony Stewart on the outside, the number 71. He's run 7 Chili Bowls since 1993. Got his first win last year, and boy, it was an important one for him. He has wanted to win. Now he wants to get number 2 in a row. The only guy ever to win the main event out of the B main was back in 1995, a guy by the name of Donnie Beechler.
Yeah, he's run a few Indy cars since then, done very well for himself, quite honestly.
In 20 of the 24 starters have won at least a midget feature in their career. And the green flag flies. We're underway. Oh, no, we're not.
Got one car upside down. Man, oh man.
It's Randy Cook, and boy, he took a hard turn into turn number 1.
Once again, that berm, he got down on that berm on the inside, and that's what turned him upside down. You can see he got way down on the inside. He got together with Jay Drake, it looked like, and then just turned him on over. I'm sorry, that was Tony Stewart. So Tony just kind of forced him down in there, and then he got up on that berm and turned him around, and then he just got upside down.
So, since we did not complete a lap, there will be a complete restart. Unfortunately for Randy, he will have to go to the back of the field if he can keep it running and get it running. There is Tony Stewart.
Yeah, he doesn't look all that much worse for the wear and tear. They've got so many of those Mopar cars here anymore, you can't hardly tell them apart.
Well, you know, and mentioning that, you know, Tony, of course, drives a soon-to-be Chevrolet in the 2003 defense of his Winston Cup championship. Asked him, I said, how do you manage to do it? He said, well, I'm not under a personal services contract to Chevrolet, and we asked them if they wanted to do this program, and they said they did not have the budget, so they went with Mopar. And he made an interesting point. He said, look back to 1998. He said, I drove for 3 different home manufacturers, 3 different tire manufacturers, and 3 different auto manufacturers.
And he did a pretty good job for all of them, so yeah. I think they were all happy with him.
I think he's got a future in this sport.
And you have to be a diplomat to be able to pull that off. Believe me, it's not an easy thing to do to make them all happy.
So everybody's getting reformed as we have yet to complete our first lap of competition here. So back on point, it will be Dan Bors. He won 4 Badger features in 2002 as he's going to try and win a Chili Bowl.
Got off to a pretty good start that last time now. Then again, he got down to the bottom of the racetrack. And Corey Kruzman, though, gets turned around, but we got another spin up there in turn 1.
Yes, and in this mix as well is the 11 of Matt Westfall, another of the Mopar team cars. The 57 is in the jam up as well.
Yeah, and his teammate Jay Drake. That's another Mopar car that they got together. And of course, the 51 car was again in this, or the 57 car, excuse me, again in this crash. It's just because he got put back there at the back.
Well, we're going to sort this one out. Let's take a commercial break. We'll be back with more of the Chili Bowl when we come back. here at the Chili Bowl Nationals, and not many people are back in the pit area now because all 13,000 seats are filled as we're going to try one more time to get this race underway. And again, there is Tony Stewart. Scott Hatton right inside of him. Same 4 guys up front. And it looks like next time we're going to go green. Roger Slack, our chief starter.
Yeah, that car back there in the 3rd row on the outside, Luke Ike, he's probably the biggest surprise. A kid that's never been here before, a young man that really ran well, ran very strong 3rd place in his first feature race.
There he is in the number 2 as the green flag flies, and we're underway.
Once again, it looks like this racetrack is good from top to bottom. They'll sort that out, though. There is going to be one place that's going to be faster than the rest, but everybody's hunting for that place right now.
Did a lot of track maintenance between the last B-Main and this championship event, and right now, there's the battle for the lead up front. Bors has it. Kruzman wants it.
Yeah, Bors is going to have to get to the bottom. Kruzman's running very well right around the bottom of the racetrack.
And we've got another yellow as we've got a couple of cars turned around in turns 3 and 4, and one of them is Danny Lasowski. There's the dude right there. Not a good start for Danny.
Yeah,
also,
Nick Lundgren is one of them. The other one is Robbie Flock. So those 3 cars all stopped down there in turns 3 and 4, although we did get at least 1 lap in, maybe 2. But you can see Lasowski's car. We talked before about it. It's a little bit of a different kind of a race car. That's the radiator up there. Those holes in the very front, the radiator's in there. And pretty vulnerable place. You don't want to get hit. Oh, you can see he's out.
Done.
Yeah, he's done.
Lasowski's hopes of winning his first Chili Bowl over. He has made the A-Main 11 times in 12 Chili Bowl appearances, but this one is going to end at the end of lap number 1.
Yeah, the shocks and the axle all messed up there, and he's not going to be able to run anymore tonight. Tough break for him. I'm sure he had a good chance. He was one of the guys in the back of the field that had a chance to come up through there and make a good showing, but it's all over now.
Should also point out, I see the 57 of Randy Cook in the infield as well, so he has withdrawn from competition. Meanwhile, there is Tony Stewart. He's in 3rd place. We will be single file now that we have completed at least 1 official lap.
Yeah, Robbie Flock is off the track, so he's also out of the race. So at least 3 guys had some bad luck here in the early going.
And there's Aaron Fike in the 95, and of course he won the 2002 National Midget Driver of the Year. And look at how close the points championship was between he and Mike Hess.
Yeah, and Mike Hess, like I said, he wasn't very well known on the national scene, but last year he came out and won 2 of the biggest midget races in the country. One at Terre Haute, the Hut 100, and the other at Knoxville. So he really came on the scene in a hurry.
We will go green next time by with Dan Bors on point. Winner of our first preliminary back on Wednesday, and then was lucky enough to pull the number 1 pill to gain the pole for tonight's championship event. Roger Slack waves the green flag. We're underway again.
This time Tony Stewart's tried to sneak in under Corey Kruzman, but all of them dove right for the bottom of the racetrack. And right now, it looked like Corey was going to have a chance to get underneath him, but couldn't do it. He's trying to enter the corner high and come off low. That's what he's been trying to do, but when he does that, he leaves the bottom open for Tony Stewart.
The battle up front. Oh, we've got a car into the wall right in the front straightaway. It is the number 4 of Don Drought. And Drought had moved up to 8th position. His 7th midget program here. And it doesn't look like it's going to end on a good note. I don't know how much damage he did, but he hit that front wall. It's right below our broadcast position. That's how we could not possibly miss it.
Yeah, sometimes you just get kind of crowded out in that direction. And you can see he was pretty much all by himself. He just got up there, got a little high, got into the fence, and turned that thing over. You can see those covers. Those are the shock covers, those blue things. They aren't really the shock, so he may be okay to restart.
Looks like the push truck is there. They're going to give it a go as soon as the traffic goes by. There are those covers that you were talking about.
Yeah, they put those on there so that the shocks, keep them clean so the shocks will work up and down really well. All that dirt, if they get packed in on the shocks themselves, sometimes they don't, it stops them working as efficiently as they should. But now that he's going to have to run without those covers being on the shocks.
Stay with us when we come back. A lot more action. Boy, if he does, he makes history. No one has ever come out of the C to win the A main here at the Chili Bowl.
And look at Tony Stewart. He's got that thing really set up for a slick racetrack. He's lifting the front end off of the racetrack. So he's hoping that it'll get a little slicker as the night goes on, and I'm sure it will.
Well, and remember last year everybody was teasing him about being down low because he always was riding Lashoski about Lashoski taking the low line, but he has learned that sometimes it is the best way to go.
Here goes Corey Kruseman. He forced him up. No, he couldn't quite do it. I thought he had him forced high enough on the racetrack he was going to be able to get under him, but just couldn't do it as Dan Boris pulled right back down to the bottom of the racetrack.
With 50 laps, the track will change as the race wears on. And here goes Kruseman. He went high, ducked under, got the inside line, hooks the berm, and may have taken the lead. Yes.
Yeah, he did exactly what he wanted to do. He went in high, got a big run. He made a long straightaway. And with that long straightaway came more speed. He just went right by Danny Boris.
Dave Darlin is up to 7th. While we saw that pass for the lead, Darlin is on the move. There, you're taking a look at the battle for 3rd. Tony Stewart has it.
Scott Hatton right behind him in that 15 car trying to get around him. Hasn't been able to do so. I think Tony set his car up for a much slicker racetrack for this, and it's just not working all that. Oh, look at that.
Nice wheel stand.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking a look now a little further back. Whoa, little contact between Hatton and Stewart. Sammy Swindell has moved up to 8th position, we can tell you, and it is getting interesting. Darlin up to 6th. And now Swindell, you see him go to 7th. And there's Darlin right in front of him.
Yeah, he's guessed right. Sammy Swindell is a guy that, he's very smart. He usually works on his own race cars, sets his own race cars up. And right now, he's got that thing looking pretty doggone good.
Yeah, Jason Myers is right in front of him there. And in the 88, and he has got 7th spot. 5th spot, Jason Myers. Swindell is now 6th. Darlin has been bumped back to 7th.
Yeah, Swindell is just taking them one right after another. Now then, the leader is up in some heavy traffic. We'll see how well. Corey Kruseman usually has absolutely no trouble with the traffic, but it looks pretty heavy back there right now.
In fact, I think this is where he has been the strongest. I mean, you saw the highlights earlier in the program. I mean, he was just slicing and dicing on the preliminary night when he won, and right now he's carving up the field. He's already gotten around Nick Lundgren. He's back in 21st position. That, the number 4 of Don Trout. And look at this, Tony Stewart has been passed by Sammy Swindell for 4th.
Yeah, Sammy Swindell all the way from 17th to 4th. He has been picking them off one right after another. Those 2nd and 3rd right smack in front of him.
And we've got the yellow out. Down in turn 4, the number 72 has turned it around. Jeff Fletcher, who was in 11th, he's going to have to move to the back.
Well, it's a tough break for him, but the racetrack has been so tacky and so good. And you can tell that as you get into the B mains and the A mains, the quality of cars, the quality of drivers is a little better, so you don't have near as many crashes and accidents as you did earlier.
And it's going to give us a chance, though, to take a commercial break, tighten up the field a little bit, and see if Sammy Swindell can continue this march to the front. He's in 4th right now. There's your race leader, Corey Kruseman. Back here at the championship event of the Chili Bowl for 2003, you're looking at Sammy Swindell, who has come from 17th to 4th. The leaderboard shows you the top 5. Would this be an unbelievable story if he can cap it off?
Yeah, Kruseman is really flying. It's going to be tough for him. Kruseman had a pretty nice lead before that yellow flag came out, but now he's got a much better chance because he's closed in a bunch.
Dave Darlin, we can tell you, also one of the guys to advance out of the B, is in 7th spot. Here we go, green once again. And look at Sammy.
Look at that. He's got that thing hooked up on the bottom so well. He just blew Scott Hatton by like he was one of the back markers, but he's running in 3rd place. Now then he's into 2nd.
Yeah, he just took 2. Boers has been bumped back to 3rd, Hatton to 4th. Look out, here comes Sammy Swindell.
Man, oh man, has he got that thing on a rail down on the inside of this racetrack. thing is now he's got the toughest customer of all, as Corey Kruzman, and Kruzman has moved up on the cushion. He's running the top of the racetrack, and they seem to be almost equal speed. Now Sammy moves up there.
And the yellow is out once again. And in turn 4, we've got the 88 of Dallin McKinney. Had moved up to 17th, but not going to stay there now.
Now he turned that thing around. He got in under, let's take a look at it. He got in underneath a couple of cars. He got in real hard, real hot, and slid up front of somebody, and they didn't like it too much. They just tapped him a little bit. That was Mike Hess. I don't think Hess did that on purpose, but when he slid up front of him, Hess already had his momentum going and just couldn't get out of the throttle quick enough, and gave him a little tap and turned him around.
So the push truck is there, and they'll try and get Dallin back into the battle. And we take a look at the leaderboard. Corey Kruzman and Sammy Swindell are your top 2 runners. How about Swindell? I mean, here's a guy who has 258 career World of Outlaw A-Main victories. He has 4 times been the champion here at the Chili Bowl. Not only that, but this is his 14th Chili Bowl A-Main. He finished 2nd back in 91, 3rd in 90, 99, and 01. I mean, this guy has been good here.
Yeah, and he's had a couple of tough years. He hasn't run quite as good, and everybody thought, well, maybe he's over the hill. Well, let me tell you something. He's not over the hill. He's back here and back strong. He's cut back his racing a little bit. He doesn't run as many times a year as he used to, but boy, oh boy, he's still got the fire, and that's the main thing.
Fastest race lap so far has been turned in by Corey Kruzman. That was early. We are 19 laps down. Here we go.
If he gets down there and sneaks by him right here on the start, it's going to be tough to get back around him. But Kruzman goes right to the top of the racetrack and hangs on to the lead.
1 high, 1 low. Sammy drifts up a little bit in that corner. Now right back on the groove, trying to push his way past Kruzman.
Yeah, it appears that the top of the racetrack is a little bit quicker right now. You can see that black groove getting down on the bottom of the racetrack. A little smoke coming out. Is that coming out of Sammy's car?
Gonna have to take a little closer look. Right now, Sammy has gone up to the high side. So the groove may be going away down low.
Look at Dave Darland, though. He's still running on the bottom of the racetrack, and he's challenging Scott Hatton right now. Scott Hatton running behind the 88 car, Dan Borst. Oh!
Trouble!
It is Sammy's car.
And Sammy has lost it.
I thought it's just smoke, and I think the engine blew on the thing. I thought I saw some smoke just a couple laps ago, and you know, you either love him or you hate him. Half the people here are cheering, half the people are very, very disappointed. Doesn't matter whether you like him or whether you don't.
Keep it out. Look at this.
Yeah, that thing blew up big time. It blew up big time. Those guys behind him, Borst and those guys did a nice job to miss him, actually.
Well, now we know why he was able to cut through everybody. He had it stretched to the limit, and unfortunately, the limit came up about 26 laps short.
Yeah, tough break for him. He really had run a nice race. That was about as nice a job as you'll see running through the pack, because he you know, in 19 laps to go from 17th to 2nd, that's pretty phenomenal. I don't care where you're racing, who you're racing.
And the crowd gives him a round of applause. Look at him. They do appreciate great racing when they see it here at the Chili Bowl.
Yeah, you gotta give him credit, whether you, like I said, whether you like him or not. That was a terrific job that he was doing here tonight, and he still had his work cut out for him. Kruzman was pretty quick, and going to be hard to get around him.
So now, if we're looking for the dark horse, we'd have to focus our attention on Dave Darland. Started 15th, he has now moved up to 3rd.
Yeah, and I think Dave Darland, I don't think he was as quick as Sammy. I think he's quicker than the car in 2nd place of Dan Borst, but boy, you know, when you talk about Corey Kruzman, he looks awfully tough. He's looked tough from the first lap he ran here this weekend, and he still looks tough.
Darland's first or quickest lap was 12.05 seconds. The fastest race lap is about a half a second quicker. Corey Kruzman's 11.7.
Yeah, Tony Stewart's still hanging around back there in 5th spot, so he's not out of this thing yet. I think they set that race car up for it so it'd be a little slicker.
Well, actually, they're officially showing Tony after 23 laps now in 7th.
So they moved him back a spot then on the restart. So
let's set it for you. It's Corey Kruzman up front. Well, they still show Sammy in second, so let's wipe him out. Move Dan Bors up to second. Third will be Scott Hatton. Fourth will now be Darlin. Fifth, Jason Myers. And Tony Stewart will be officially sixth.
Aaron Pike, P.J. Jones right behind him. So still got a lot of guys and a long way to go. This thing is not half over yet.
There is Aaron Pike. Meanwhile, motors come up to full song. We're getting ready to go back green.
Where everybody tries to run. Morris goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Everybody else back there goes to the top. Now then, it looks like Darlin might drop to the bottom of the racetrack as everybody else went to the top, and he gets right by Scott Hatton.
And Darlin now moves into third, and he's challenging Morris for second.
Yeah, it looked like kind of the move that Kruzman used was he just made that very long straightaway, and he did get by Morris.
Well, Morris tapped the outside wall. That it was just enough hesitation, and now Dave Darlin from 15th to second.
Well, he's certainly got that thing dialed in right now. Running the top of the racetrack. Oh, he's got that thing set up pretty tight, too. You see him jerking the front wheels off the racetrack.
Yeah, you got some great forward bite when you can pull those wheels.
Up, P.J. Jones is spun.
Yep, and the yellow comes out once again as we have completed 26 laps. And also, we've got problems with the 94 of Brian Gerster as he has pulled it to the side. It looks like his day is done. And PJ's got suspension problems, the damaged right front. It looks like maybe, I don't know if I can tell if it's totally snapped or not.
Jimmy Sills got into him after he spun and stopped on the racetrack. And he's getting out of his race car, so he might think he's done for the night.
Well, we're going to take a commercial break. There is Corey Kruzman. We'll let you know what happens to P.J. Jones. Can he get it refired, or is he out of it?
And welcome back to the 17th Annual Chili Bowl Nationals. We've caught up with the phenomenal Sammy Swindell. It was fun watching you. Disappointed with that blow-up, but man, you were hooked up.
Yeah, it was just, that car was great. We've just had so many problems this week. It just seemed like we were in the wrong place, and I can't believe it. We had the back of the U-joint failed. So, I've never lost one of those before. So, bad time, and I think we had them covered. Just it was unfortunate that it happened, and we were going to run first or second easy.
That's right. I think this was our winner until that unfortunate blow-up. Let's go back up.
Car, I've been told, is super, super light. He worked on that thing himself. He put it all together out of carbon fiber. They said that thing was light. Maybe that's why it was so quick.
We're back to green flag racing, just past the halfway point. Corey Kruzman moves out to about a 2-car length lead over Dave Darlin. Dan Bors in third. Fourth, Scott Hatton. Jay Drake is up to 5th. Aaron Pike 6th. Tony Stewart 7th.
Yeah, and Dave Darlin's just hanging on, trying to catch. You can see those 271 cars, Stewart and Jay Drake. They look almost identical down there. You can tell that Tony Stewart's got on his orange Home Depot uniform. It's about the only way you can tell them apart, other than Jay Drake's ahead of him right now.
Right. Drake is the first of the 71 Mopars. Trying to track down Dan Bors. I'll tell you another guy we haven't said much about, but I'll tell you he's running a great little race right now. Jason Myers is in 8th position. Has never raced a midget until Wednesday. He could be our Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, doing a nice job. Right now, though, Kruzman is just pulling away slowly but surely from Dave Darlin. Darlin's tried a little bit of everything, but just hasn't been able to do anything to catch him. Jay Drake, meanwhile, who started way in the back, too, and he's challenging pretty hard for that 3rd position right now.
Drake started in the inside of row number 7 and has moved all the way up into the top 5 and is still trying to push it a little bit farther. He has gotten past Scott Hatton and is in the 4th spot.
Yeah, and he's been running the bottom of the racetrack almost the whole race. He's one of the few guys running down there and really making some progress.
Lap 35 of 50. And right now, nobody has anything for Corey Kruzman. He has opened up a full straightaway lead. Oh, Dave Darlin is pulling to the infield. Darlin running in second. in turns 1 and 2 has pulled into the infield.
Well, that's a tough break for him. It looks like the left rear suspension gave way. See how low that car's sitting? The left rear suspension gave up on him. He either broke the shock or something. Oh, we got another stoppage up here in turn number 3.
And you saw our race leader almost slide into it. It is Luke Ike. And Ike was running in 14th position.
Yeah, once again, his first trip here to the Chili Bowl. He had a good run going. He ran 3rd in Thursday night's A main, but doesn't look like he's going to have that much luck here in the Saturday night A main.
Yeah, he and Jason Myers are battling it out for the Rookie of the Year honors, and there is Dave Darlin. And boy, just a lot of disappointment there as all of a sudden on the front straightaway, he has to pull it off the racetrack.
Yeah, the suspension gave way. There wasn't much he could do. There's Bob East, who built the car, coming by to see what happened. But, you know, this is a tough racetrack. It's a small racetrack, but it's tough on equipment because you do bang that cushion pretty hard. You do lean on the suspension real hard, and you have to set the cars up very soft. So all those things combined make it pretty difficult on the race car itself.
And as we take a look, there is another flat on a flat left rear of Damian Gardner. As the SCRA sprint car runner-up has got a big problem.
Yeah.
You can't make it very far like that. The car's going to be extremely ill handling.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to run. You can run with a flat left front. You can't run with a flat left rear. He's going to have to pull that thing in, and I mean, he can try to run, but he's going to go very, very slow.
Yeah, he's in 10th place right now. That's why he doesn't want to give it up, but we'll find out how long he can hang on.
And look at that. Danny Boris had a shot down on the bottom, and Corey Kruzman couldn't quite make it work. That may be the last shot he gets at Kruzman. Oh, now that Jay Drake came up on Boris, and he couldn't quite get by him. This time he might, though. Boris slid across the slick part of the racetrack and might give Jay Drake the opportunity to move into second.
Just to let you know, Drake and Tony Stewart have both gone to the low side of the track, and yellow is out once again, and we've got a car upside down. It is Dallin McKinney, and that's on the back straightaway heading into turn number 3, and I did not see what got him upside down.
No, I didn't see that either. He ended up on his side down there almost into turn number 4, so tough break for him. P.J. Jones pulls off on the back straightaway.
See if we can get a look at it here.
That was P.J. who got up on the wall, and when he came back down, he got into Dallin McKinney, and McKinney had no place to go, and he got upside down. But that's why P.J. Jones is pulled off the racetrack, was he came down and McKinney hit him. He's bent something on the race car and had to pull in to either try to get it fixed or he's done for the night.
Yeah, PJ's about 20 yards to the left at the turnout area and pulled off the track. So McKinney, who was running in 12th, unfortunately upside down, the 2002 USAC Western States Midget winner from Hanford, California. We've got to take a commercial break. We'll be back.
This ESPN2 presentation of the 2003 Chili Bowl is brought to you by Citgo. We know you. By Long John Silver's, this is Seafood Country. By Diamond Cut Jeans. Try a pair, they just fit better. And by Natural Gear, the science of camouflage.
And back here at the Expo Center for the 17th running of the Chili Bowl, Marty Reed along with Larry Rice and A.B. East. Glad you're with us. The laps are starting to wind down. We have completed 38, and Corey Kruzman is in control of this race. Dan Boers has taken a couple of runs at him, hasn't been able to get past him. He's in second right now. Jay Drake has really done the job. Started on the 13th position, now third. Fourth is Scott Hatton, and Aaron Pike, who started 11th, has moved up to 5th.
And look at this. Jay Drake goes to the top. As Boris, he knew Boris was going to go to the bottom. That's the same thing Boris has done the last couple of times. So he tried to get around him on the top, but he goes to the bottom down there in 3 and 4, and he does make the pass.
So Jay Drake takes over the second spot, sets his sights on Corey Kruzman. So far, nobody has had anything for Kruzman.
No, they haven't. The only thing that Jay Drake can hope for is that top wears out. Now, he tried to go to the top. He's he doesn't look to be as fast around the top as Corey Kruseman is. So he might want to move back down to the bottom, just hope the top works out.
This time, now 9 laps to go for Corey Kruseman to pick up his second Chili Bowl championship.
Well, he certainly looks to be in control. That race car, it looks to be on a rail. He hasn't made a bobble all night long.
Meanwhile, let's get you updated on some of your other favorite drivers. Tony Stewart has moved back up to 4th position.
Yeah, and he's moving forward. He's gotten back as far as 6th or 7th position. He's moving forward. He's challenging Dan Bors right now.
In 5th, it's Scott Hatton. Aaron Fike is in 6th. Jason Myers, the outstanding rookie, is in 7th. Greg Lukert, 8th. Mike Hess, 9th. And Matt Westfall rounds out your top 10.
Corey Kruseman is the only guy that's running the top, running consistently fast. Danny Bors is doing a great job up there, but not nearly as quickly as Corey Kruseman.
And right now, the battle for 3rd, there goes, and I don't think it's going to hold up. That was Tony Stewart. He got around the 88 of Dan Bors, but the 01 of Greg Lukert, who was running 8th, as you can see, into the wall, bringing out a yellow. So I think Tony's going to have to give that spot back.
Yeah, he is. He's going to have to go back behind him and do it all over again, and it's not easy. I mean, he's been working on him for about 5 or 6 laps just to get that position, and it right there, just about the time he was making the pass, the yellow flag came out. So I'm sure he won't like that, but there's nothing he can do about it.
Well, you see him moving up alongside his teammate. They're exchanging some signals. Could be some team tactics perhaps coming off here.
I don't know. He and Dan Bors just had a little love tap right there. So, yeah, you know, Jay Drake doesn't have much choice. You know that Corey Kruseman is so fast around the top, he's not going to move. He's going to go to the top. He's going to be fast around the top. You got to hope that you go in on the bottom. Kruseman makes a very rare error, and you can get around him. Once you're in front of him, you can move up to the top and kind of block him, but you got to get around him first.
Now the Dan Bors shown in 4th on the racetrack, but we're going to go back to lap 45, so he will get 3rd place back. Let's get you updated. Also, I see PJ Jones is behind the wall over on the far end of the racetrack, so it looks like his race is over as we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing with 5 laps remaining.
Oh, and Jay Drake got caught with his pants down right there. He wasn't ready for that. He was way back.
And the yellow has come out immediately. Something that Roger Slack did not like on the restart.
Well, they weren't in single file, and Jay Drake had no idea. Look at Tony Stewart. He's bumping him, saying, "Hey, get yourself up there if you want to win this race, buddy." But he wasn't ready. He was still out there kind of going back and forth, keeping the tires warm, knocking all the mud off of them, and he just wasn't ready at all for that restart.
And as we take a look at the restart, we'll tell you one more time that now we're seeing PJ Jones being pushed back out.
See, he wasn't paying, I'm not sure whether he wasn't paying attention or wasn't running, but whatever happened, he certainly was not ready for that restart.
So PJ Jones, whatever repairs they made, thanks to the second yellow, he was able to get back out without losing a lap. And we'll let you know that the 17 is shown officially in 12th place, last car on the lead lap.
What about Tony Stewart? He never gives up. He fell back to 7th place, never quit, never even looked like he was going to quit. Come back up, he's running 3rd, and he still has a chance to win this race.
And they're leaving him in 3rd place.
Oh, look at that, Kruseman,
something wrong with Corey Kruseman. And again, the yellow comes out.
Well, I think he might have run out of gas. It looks like the thing ran out of fuel or something, or a fuel blockage, because it's not running. It wasn't, I mean, they're yellow flagging it because he didn't get a good start, but I don't think it's his fault. The ignition may have gone bad, but it's something that happened to that car that it didn't take off. What a terrible, terrible break this would be for him.
Well, we're going to wait and see if they reset the field, but Corey has not pulled around to the front, and Corey
is pulling off.
Whatever it is.
He's pointing. He's wanting. He's out of fuel.
It is. It's fuel.
Out of fuel. They just didn't put enough fuel in it. Man, oh man.
Oh, what a heartbreak this would be.
What a terrible, terrible break with 5 laps to go. That he's out of fuel. and they're not going to wait on him.
They won't.
I mean, if he's lucky and there's a yellow flag here, he might get back out there. But now then, it's teammates.
Yep, Jay Drake and
Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart. Dan Boers on the outside trying to go high.
Well, I think those two guys are going to stay on the bottom. That's where they've been the fastest all night long. So Dan Boers, if he can get his act together and get around him on the top side, the top side's going to be all his.
4 laps, 3 this time by for Jay Drake. The battle's for second right now.
And Dan Boers has got his act together. He's gotten around Tony Stewart and is faster around the top now than he has been for the last several laps.
2 to go. Jay Drake, the 2001 Chili Bowl champion. Can he do it again in 2003? Boers is around Tony Stewart.
And he is fast up there. He's only got 1 lap to go. But if Jay Drake makes any kind of an error at all, Danny Boers still has a chance. Look at this. He's got a good run up in turn number 2.
Boers, who won it in 99. He's got to go high here. We're going for the stripe. It's Dan Boers. He does it. He gets number 2.
Unbelievable. It didn't look like he had a prayer on that restart. He hadn't been running all that quick. You know, those guys that both passed him running the bottom of the racetrack, suddenly he put that thing in the afterburners and he blew him away on the last lap. Terrific job by Dan Boers.
Just as he did in 1999 when he won his preliminary and then went on to win his Chili Bowl championship, he does it again here in 2003.
Well, he started on the pole, so everybody's going to think, well, that was easy. He started on the pole and he won it. But man, oh man, he had gone all the way back to about 4th or 5th position at one time. And the last 2 laps, he came on.
Here is the final lap. On the high side, look at the way he is coming off that corner.
Here's where he won the race. He got a great run through turns 1 and 2. He had a good run down the back straightaway, and then going into turn 3, you know, he just got another good run off the corner, and he kind of chopped down and beat him. What a great run.
So Dan Boers, a 2-time Chili Bowl champion. 209 people showed up here to try and win and stand there for this moment. And Amy East, it's Dan's moment now.
career wins for Dan Boers, and you saw the reason why. With an unbelievable pass for the lead at the end, Danny Boers, wow, 1999, you are Chili Bowl champ. You repeat in 2003. He almost has a look of disbelief on his face, you guys. He hung in there with the 2 Coons Mopar cars. Let me get out of the way. Here is a major celebration going on. Danny, congratulations. That was awesome.
Oh, thanks very much. It just seemed like nobody wanted to lead it and run second. And, boy, you got to have a car to finish. Our car finished. We just hung in there, did some consistent laps. And I couldn't believe, I think Drake and Stewart, I couldn't believe they stayed on the bottom. My only chance was on the top. I said, if you're ever going to make 5 good laps, you better make them right now.
Talk me through that last lap. Did you think when you saw that white flag that the win was possible?
Well, my crew chief, Troy Richards, gave me 5 to go on the last yellow. So I knew I had to put 5 good ones together. And, you know, the track, everybody's running on the bottom. It just seemed like it was just going away, just a tick. So I said, I'm going to try to go for it all. Might as well.
Well, we're seeing the last lap right now. I'm telling you, Danny, 13,000 people were cheering, and if you could have heard it, it would have just made you even more excited to win this thing.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad my wife's here to see my victory. All my sponsors, Wyland Racing Enterprises, K&R Concrete, Real Wheels, Hoosier Tires, Stealth, Gertie Engines, all those guys back me, and it's really a neat deal. I'd just like to say hi to all those people back at home at Sun Prairie. Hey, baby, this one's for you.
All right, there he is, celebrating in Victory Lane, your 2003 Chili Bowl champion, Dan Boers.
Thanks, Amy, and the celebration will continue long into the night, and it was hard-earned. Take a look. Here's your final top 10. Behind Boers, Jay Drake, Tony Stewart, Pike, Hatton, Myers. He'll be Rookie of the Year, no doubt. Great 6th-place run. Matt Westfall, Mike Hess, Damian Gardner came back to finish 9th, and Nick Lundgren rounds out your top 10.
And if you'd ask everybody in this building if they thought Dan Borst had a chance to win this on that last restart, I bet you over 12,000 of them would have said no. But it didn't take anybody but Dan Borst to believe in himself, because he blew by both of those 71 cars and won this thing, and he earned it.
Well, we hope you have enjoyed the 2003 Chili Bowl, the 17th edition of this great event. What we've got coming up next, live women's college basketball here on ESPN2. Wisconsin versus Illinois, and that's at Champaign. All live next on ESPN2. For Amy East and Larry Rice, I'm Marty Reed. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. So long, everybody.